desolate, windswept expanse of Bodmin Moor in Cornwall, a chilling legend stalks the night. The beast of Bodmin Moor. This spectral creature, resembling a panther or leopard, has haunted the moorlands since 1978, leaving a trail of terror and grisly evidence in its wake. It began with whispers of a shadowy figure lurking near the livestock, eyes like embers piercing the darkness. Farmers awoke to a nightmare of mutilated sheep and cattle, their bodies torn apart by something with terrifying strength and unrelenting savagery. The locals spoke of massive, feline-like paw prints left imprinted in the damp earth, too large for any known cat and too menacing to ignore. The beast of Bodmin Moor, as it became known, moved with eerie silence, slipping through the mist and granite tors like a ghost, stalking unseen yet ever present. Its black coat blended seamlessly with the night, making it nothing more than a flicker of movement in the moonlight. A glimpse, a shiver, then gone. Those unfortunate enough to encounter it described a low, guttural growl echoing through the stillness, a sound that lingered long after the beast had vanished into the shadows. Hunters and cryptid enthusiasts scoured the moor, hoping to glimpse the phantom cat, but the beast eluded them all, leaving only fleeting traces, a tuft of dark fur, claw marks in the trees, the overpowering stench of something primal. Some believe the beast of Bodmin Moor is still there, prowling, watching, a creature of legend and nightmare. And on misty nights, when the fog settles thick over the moor, the locals swear they can still hear it. A heavy, predatory silence, waiting just out of sight. In the chilling winter of 1953, the quiet town of Bladenboro, North Carolina, was gripped by fear. It started with a single grisly discovery. A family dog, its body drained of blood, left lifeless on the icy ground. The town whispered of a shadow in the woods, a monstrous creature with eyes that gleamed in the dark and fangs sharp enough to tear flesh like paper. They called it the Beast of Bladenboro, or more hauntingly, the Vampire Beast. Each night, the body count rose. Livestock and pets were found slaughtered, their corpses mangled, throats punctured by jagged teeth. The beast struck with silent, brutal efficiency, leaving trails of blood-soaked snow, yet no paw prints or clues. Locals reported glimpses of a hulking, cat-like creature, its coat a menacing shade that seemed to meld with the shadows. Its movements were swift and unnaturally smooth, stalking its prey with the calculated precision of a seasoned predator. Panic spread, and townsfolk gathered rifles and flashlights, forming hunting parties to track the monster. But the beast seemed to toy with them, vanishing like a spectre before they could close in. At night, they heard the eerie, guttural growls echoing from the woods, chilling them to the bone. Hunters claimed to feel eyes watching from the darkness, as if the beast was studying them, mocking their futile efforts. Days turned into weeks, and the carnage continued. To this day, on the coldest nights of winter, when the wind howls through the trees, they say you can hear the faint growl of the beast of Bladenborough, lurking just out of sight, waiting for his next hunt. It always begins the same way. A driver alone at night, hearing something strange beneath their car. A dull, grinding noise, a scraping that sends a shiver up their spine. The road is empty, the darkness endless, and the driver pulls over, heart thudding, convinced it must be something serious. They step out into the silence, the cold night air biting against their skin. There's nothing around, only shadows, long and unnaturally still. They crouch down, peering beneath the car, their breath fogging in the cold. That's when it happens. A flash of silver, a brutal slice, and the driver screams. The pain is instant, searing as their ankles are cut open, tendons severed. They collapse to the ground, writhing in agony, unable to move, the world blurring around them. In their panic, they see it, a shadowy figure emerging from underneath the car, moving with a calm, predatory grace. The thief rises, stepping over the driver as if they are nothing more than a discarded object. Without a word, they slide into the car, the door slamming shut, the engine roaring to life. The headlights sweep across the road, illuminating the driver's twisted form for a heartbeat before the car speeds away, leaving them alone, helpless, bleeding into the asphalt. The legend of the ankle-slicing car thief is a warning, a reminder that not all noises should be investigated, not every strange sound should be pursued. Because sometimes, in the dead of night, what waits in the shadows is not just a problem to be fixed, but a nightmare lurking beneath, ready to strike when you least expect it. The tale of Anastasia Romanov's survival is whispered in the dark corners of history. A chilling story of a young duchess who slipped through the fingers of death the night her family was brutally executed in 1918. They say that as gunfire
amidst the smoke and screams, Anastasia disappeared. She vanished into the shadows, leaving behind only confusion and a mystery that would haunt the world for decades. Sightings of a girl, fragile, with piercing blue eyes that seemed to carry the weight of unimaginable horrors, began to surface. She moved like a ghost across Europe, seen in train stations and dark alleys, always fleeing, always hiding. Her whispers told of betrayal, of tunnels under the palace, of guards who pitied her just long enough for her to escape. The people who found her swore that she spoke of things only a Romanov could know. Her voice haunted, her eyes empty as if staring into a past too dark to remember. But there was something wrong about those who claimed to be Anastasia. A darkness clung to them, a hint of madness behind their eyes, as though they had brought back something sinister from that night of blood and bullets. People wanted to believe, even as unease grew. Was it really her, or something pretending, something that had slipped through the cracks that night? The truth came out in 2007. Anastasia had never escaped. Her remains had lain hidden, separate from her family, but very much among the dead. Yet the legend persists, a ghostly reminder of a girl who for many will always be running, forever lost, forever trying to escape the horrors that claimed her family. In 2016, a strange and unsettling phenomenon began creeping across the country. Clowns, grotesque figures painted in bright colors, started appearing in the most unexpected places. They emerged from the dark, their smiles stretched too wide, their eyes glinting with something that felt wrong, something that seemed to hunger for fear. It began with fleeting glimpses, reports of lone clowns standing silently at the edges of forests, staring with their heads tilted just slightly, as if amused by some private, twisted joke. Then the sightings grew closer, figures appearing beneath streetlights at 3 a.m., lurking near playgrounds, their bright costumes garish under the moonlight. Witnesses described the feeling of being watched, a chill that ran down the spine when they saw those crimson smiles in the shadows. They never spoke. They simply stared, sometimes holding balloons that bobbed eerily in the night breeze. People reported being chased, the clowns lunging out of the darkness, their laughter shrill and unnatural, echoing through empty streets. The terror spread like wildfire, each new sighting feeding the growing paranoia. By the time October rolled in, the sightings had become a frenzy, a nightmare that blurred the lines between prank and something much more sinister. The clowns were no longer just hiding in the dark. They were approaching homes, tapping on windows, their faces inches from the glass. Their eyes were vacant, their painted grins too wide, and the fear they left in their wake was real, a creeping dread that no one could shake. The clowns eventually disappeared, fading back into the shadows as quickly as they had come, but the unease remained. Now, whenever someone catches a flash of color in the dark darkness, a hint of red or yellow, they wonder. Have the clowns returned?